Welcome back to Liberty in Finance. We're delighted to introduce a first-time guest today. Shane Williams is the CEO of West Red Lake Gold. He joins us this Friday, September 8th, 2023. Shane, thanks for coming on Liberty in Finance this first time.
Thank you very much. It's great to be on. I'm a good follower of the platform.
I'm glad you've been watching. I appreciate that very much. Please spread the word as much as you are able. And I found out about you and your company through our mutual friend, Sean Kunkun at Dolly Silver. They have been a supporting partner of our platform for some time now and wanted our viewers to have a chance to find out about West Red Lake Gold. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about was, you talk about the macro environment that can provide a fruitful setup for profitable operations of a company that will benefit shareholders as well. You were speaking with me about the run-up that gold made. Certainly over the past decade, we've seen gold run from as low in the 1450s to 1500s up to over $2,000 per ounce US. And you were talking about the timing of another gold setting up for another run. Can you talk to us about what you are watching in that space and why you think that makes for a fruitful time for investors?
Yeah, look, given there's a lot of discussion at the moment around, the Federal Reserve and the amount of money that's been pushed into the system around the world, and we believe that as we go forward, this is going to cause. It has caused inflation. It is going to cause down the road some challenges to the economy, as interest rates are rising, and so we see a kind of a setup that was before on the gold price. We believe that another gold bull run is coming over the next number of years. And one of the best ways to play that gold bull run is in the miners and get into the gold miners. You know, back in the early 2000s, there was a lot of setup that were similar, and gold ran up very, very high. And there was a lot of companies who got in early and built big gold mining companies over that period by doing M&A strategies, taking on projects, growing those projects, and leverage the gold price. So we see very similar sort of a setup now preparing, and we're going to use that strategy to build a big company out of it. That's our long-term goal.
And as I understand, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from a bargain acquisition of an asset that you'd like to exploit and take advantage of creating and adding value to during this anticipated gold bull run. Can you talk to our viewers about why, as potential investors, they should be aware of the value that you were able to find and the bargain you were able to get at it for developing a new asset?
Yeah, I think we're playing to both investors. We're playing to the gold investors, obviously, who are there, but we're also playing to the value investors. You know, our strategy is to kind of buy assets that are cheap at the time and that we can pick up relatively cheap, and then use those, turn them around, and then grow basically as the business grows. So we picked up recently a project called the Madsen project, which has just went through the CCA process. The previous operators had some challenges around their capital structure, and obviously COVID was in the middle of their previous ramp up. So they had a lot of challenges, and that business went into the CCA process. We managed to get in there. We did a lot of DD, understood the asset, really understood the potential opportunity of that. That asset has had $350 million spent on it. And also during the last number of years prior to that was over $1 billion in market capitalization. So we saw that as a real opportunity to get in, take over that asset, put in a good management team, a good structure, a company, and then move that forward. And with the gold price run, we see a lot of leverage to grow that business over time. And that's kind of a model that some of our backers, some of our previous people involved in the board have done very well. We have a number of key individuals who have done that same strategy a couple of times in the phase, and we see the same time happening with West Red Lake as we go forward.
Can you introduce to all of us what geographies and jurisdictions you're operating in, and where your company is focusing?
Yeah, we're focused in the Red Lake region of Canada in Ontario. This region is very, very prolific. It has an experience of over 30 million ounces has been pulled from this area over many, many years. And the deposits tend to be very, very high grade and deep. The systems run very deep and very high grade. So this is an area that primarily over the last history has been there, lots of mines on a historical basis from Canada, but over the last number of years has been kind of ignored, and we again see that as an opportunity. It has that other areas in Canada, like the Golden Triangle and other areas, have become the new places to be, but Red Lake is an area that's overlooked. And again, we see that opportunity as a way of getting in there and leveraging them deposits to grow.
One concern that might sound a bit far afield, but it is raised by some of our viewers, is the concern about potential nationalization of mines. We've certainly seen in the last few years, you mentioned difficulties that the former Pure Gold company had during the COVID era, for example, which caused them to go into, bankruptcy, and then you were able to purchase their assets for pennies on the dollar, which really benefits future shareholders. But one of the concerns that has arisen in Canada, specifically in the last few years, is intrusion by the government into the affairs of ordinary people and businesses. How does your company look at the potential of any intrusion by a national government in Canada as part of your evaluating your business risks and those that your investors would be facing?
Yeah, so primarily, obviously, focusing in Canada, which is a tier 1 jurisdiction, but also one of the challenges of project development of mining companies, as you know, there's a lot of process to go through, permitting, EA process. It takes a long time nowadays to build a mine. So again, our strategy is focused on, we picked up this project. It already has a permit in place. It was in commercial production, so it's really ready to go. So again, for the investor coming in, there's no waiting around for 5 or 6 years to get this in one. It's really ready to go. So the input from the government is very little, actually. We can be in production. We also have a lot of tax losses from the last CCA process, again, which reduces taxation effects. So yeah, I see this strategy has very little impact from the government as we go forward. Very little influence.
Rick Rule, the founder of the Rule Investment Symposium on Natural Resources, which we attended last month, has handpicked Dolly Varden multiple years in a row as one of the companies he wants to highlight for prospective investors there. He looks for latent value that hasn't been recognized yet by the market, and he also looks for proven management teams. Can you hit those two elements for us of latent value? I think you've touched on that, but also the proven management team with West Red Lake Gold, and why people should be take a close look at it.
Yeah, I think that's correct from Rick, and it's one of our strategies. Look, we're kind of in a number of different areas covered by key management. Our backers behind us, in a sense, is obviously Frank Giustra. Anybody in the mining industry in Canada will know Frank Giustra. He was part of the Goldcorp run-up in huge adding value. So he's a key backer to the company. Then if you go down to the board level, we've brought on a very, very technical board, key company builders over time. Tony McCooch is a key people, again, in Canada, most people would know. Tony built Kirkland Lake, which is a huge company, ran up over to $10 billion of value before it was bought by Agnico Eagle. Again, high value company. Duncan Middlemas, also a key board member, who again was a key of the Wesdome story. Again, these are key guys who are experienced, who built large companies. And again, we've put together also on the management team people who have all been operators, done it before, have that experience. So I think that's one key point that I think the market hasn't recognized yet. I would say in the market in Canada at the moment, we probably have one of the best teams out there for building value and the opportunity to grow. So that's for one area. For value on the project, I mean, this asset again was a market cap of $1 billion, and there's $350 million of value being put into it. So I think, our market cap at the moment is just shy of $100 million. So there's a lot of runway to run on this. So between the management team, the value strategy, I do believe we have a perfect package for investors to get in early now and be part of the journey as we grow.
I understood you had some slides from a corporate presentation that might illustrate some of the key points that you'd like our viewers to be aware of so that they can understand your company better. If you be willing to share a few of those, we'd be happy to understand those. And go ahead.
So I'd like to give our viewers a little bit, and Frank Justra, people might know him in Canada, is one of the probably biggest resource investors within Canada. He's our major shareholder. He's very committed to this vision of building high-grade resources in one of the richest mining districts in Canada. I also wanted to just give people an overview of the sort of value that's already there. You know, we have most people who know mining, and as we go forward, more so an exploration type project, but we're really an operating mine. We have a mill in place, we have tailings facilities, we have a shaft in place, we have ramp access, we have underground development. Really, today, if you had to build, there's a lot of talk today, Donnie, on, you know, projects being built, there's cost overruns, there's inflation. You know, if you had to build this asset today in this area, you would have it would cost probably today over $500 million to build it fresh, you know, just with all the issues that's going on. And we bought this for $6 million in cash, some shares and an NSR. So really a deep value proposition is what we're focused on. You can see sort of a brand new mill. It's ready to go. It has been built. And these are some of the key challenges I think that really investors need to understand from a value play. It's actually, we have a project ready to go and operate. So we're quickly into cash flow. If we get into cash flow with the run up in gold price, which we believe will happen, you really get that leverage to value going forward. You know, also to talk about the resource, these are high grade ounces in the project. You go very, very deep, very, very deep systems, but the higher grade, the deeper we go. So that gives the leverage as we move deeper and deeper. Some of these deposits in the Red Lake region, again, very, very high grade. Goldcorp, the company, was built on the Red Lake mine, which is our neighbor, very close to us. And so that gives some viewers the idea of the richness of this ore. I think the other thing we have going for us is we actually have two projects. We have our Madsen project, which is the operating mill, but we also have upside on our Rowan project. We have about 2 million ounces on the Madsen project, and we have another 800,000 ounces on our Rowan property. And the idea is within this region, which is very prolific, to build a hub and a spoke system, because we have a centralized mill and we'll have a number of deposits around which we can feed that mill. So it's really a growth story there.
Well, Shane, it's remarkable when you talk about having been able to buy these assets at a bargain price for pennies on the dollar, and what a acceleration that provides to getting into profitable operations, and how that is poised to potentially benefit investors. And they will want to find out more about this. Where shall people go if they want to find out more before making their investment decision?
So yeah, we have www.westredlake.com is our website. We also have we have a nice presentation. This presentation is there in detail, and people can reach out to myself on the presentation. People can reach out to myself. My details. I'm kind of a CEO who wants to talk to investors. Happy to talk to investors. Get into that detail. So there's some of the key elements of, and they can sign up to our website and get regular updates from the company.
Well, Shane, it's been a pleasure and a very great time to be able to introduce your company, West Red Lake Mine, West Red Lake Gold, to our subscribers. And we're looking forward to having you back on to talk about more progress as you get your mill up and running, as you get your producing mines feeding that mill, and all the things that are necessary to make operations turn into profits for the benefit of the company and for the benefit of shareholders. And it's just the beginning of a very exciting story, it sounds like. And our viewers are very much and closely watching the overall gold price as well, and will remain interested in seeing how that benefits your company as well moving forward. And just thank you for joining us this first time on Liberty and Finance.
Yeah, it's been excellent to be introduced to your viewers, and yeah, it will be an exciting journey, I believe, as we go forward, and look forward to keeping your viewers updated as we go.